Hi, this is Grant again from the Bicycle Shop in State College. I'm here to talk a little bit about winter clothes and how to dress for the extreme cold season that we can get here in central Pennsylvania. Little different apparel. It's not cheap. The nice thing about winter clothing is you're going to have it for many, many years, assuming you don't lose it or misplace it. But you do need a totally different set of clothing. The only thing that really is going to carry over are probably going to be your shorts. You're still going to want to wear a good pair of padded shorts as part of your base layer. As far as your upper body goes, you're going to want to go to something almost like an Under Armour or a light polypropylene top, something that's going to wick. It's going to keep your core dry, which will keep you more comfortable, and it's going to pull a lot of that moisture off you into your next layer, so you're still going to stay warm and dry. That's going to be your key piece as a base layer that many people overlook. The second piece that you're going to need for being comfortable is going to be a middle or an insulating layer. This can range anything from a super lightweight jersey to a heavyweight jersey. Winter dressing is probably the toughest thing because everybody has a different comfort level as far as what they consider cold. So what works for me may not necessarily work for you. Everybody's a little different, and this is where you'll have to kind of play around and fine tune. But as long as you have the core ingredients or components, you should be comfortable on your longer winter rides. So we got jerseys, base layers, a nice long tight, and you can get these. There's a couple different styles. This one's actually by Cannondale. It's their slice tight. It is windproof paneling all through the front of the tight, but yet the back of the tight, except for the spray skirt, which is where your rear wheel may get you a little wet, the fabric on the back of the legs is not windproof. It's actually designed to vent and breathe, because if you had a completely windproof tight, you get pretty warm pretty quick and probably not be very comfortable because you'd be sweating a lot. But this will help regulate temperature as well as keep you warmer on those blustery cold days. Externally, you got a couple options. One of my favorites as far as a shell or a jacket is the Specialized Element. This is basically a soft shell technology. It's pretty windproof. It's not 100% because, again, you want it to breathe a little bit. It is insulated, so it has some waffling fabric or knit on the inside that's going to help trap some warm air. But most importantly, it's going to help keep the worst of the wind and the rain and whatever you may encounter out there, the road slush, whatever's out there. Something like this, you can get them in brighter colors or more subdued colors, but the keys are going to be, it does have nice reflective tabs as well as a couple pockets, so you're not having to unzip your jacket every time you want to grab a snack or something to nibble on out of there. If you need something for wetter, if you're riding and it's cold rain or something like that, there's some really nice rain kits out there. The fabric has come a long way. It's not super noisy or super stiff anymore. It's a lot suppler. This fabric, this Ion jacket, actually uses a 4-way stretch rain material. So it's waterproof, it's breathable, it's seam sealed, so you can stand out there all day, and they have a nice complementing pair of pants to match as well. And they have the same material. They're kind of cut for a more ergonomic bend, as well as the stretchable fabric, so they won't budge or pull down or anything like that. In addition to the core, the base layer, the insulating layer, the shell, your tights, you're going to need to keep your extremities warmer. And good ways of doing this, there are a couple different style of gloves, and gloves can range depending on how warm your hands are. Some people, again, run warmer than others. You can get something as simple as a light insulating layer that's windproof and breathable, such as the Specialized D-Flex. And then the more popular for the extreme cold are going to be almost like mittens. They're called Lobster Gloves. These happen to be Giro's 100 proof gloves, and they actually have a really nice liner. So if you get too warm, you can kind of interchange them depending on the conditions. Take the liner off once you start to get a little warm but need a little bit of protection with something like this. Or you can just wear the liner if you want, if it gets to be really warm and the gloves are too hot. So these still give you excellent feel for road biking, mountain biking, and in the coldest weather conditions. On your feet, on the other hand, you're going to need a little bit more than just toe covers to keep your feet warm. One of the first things you want to start with is, again, the base. A nice wool sock is excellent. Get as much wool as possible. You want to check the blends because a lot of socks will say that they're wool, but they may only have 10 or 15%. The higher concentration of wool, the warmer and better wicking, better insulation it's going to offer as well. And then as far as going over the shoes, you've got a couple options. There's some newer fabrics that have come out. In fact, Cannondale has a very nice windproof but breathable shoe cover. So if you're riding on the roads, that'll keep the road spray from icing your toes down, as well as keeping your ankles nice and warm. Usually these will be a little bit taller so that they'll cover your tights as well. So you won't have any gaps or any exposed flesh or allow any air to get through. In addition to the regular soft shell kind of shoe covers that we have, the neoprene ones are probably the most popular. These are going to be for the extreme cold weather. They do now make them with a mountain bike option as well, which has a bigger cutout, so you can put these right over your mountain bike shoes. They're made of an abrasion resistance fabric, but the core is neoprene. Just throwing caution to the wind, there is one downside to neoprene, is it does not breathe. It is a cellular foam, and basically all that moisture is going to be trapped inside your foot. Most people don't realize how much their feet sweat when they ride, and that moisture could condense. If you're out for 3-4 hours, chances are your feet will get a little bit colder, but most people aren't going to be riding in the winter time for that duration. So for short jaunts, when it's really cold out for an hour or two, these are perfect. But if you really want to splurge, there are options such as a winter cycling shoe. And this varies from a normal cycling shoe. This happens to be a mountain one, obviously with the tread. Still runs your regular mountain cleat. You'll notice the top of the shoe, there's no ventilation at all. This one, the defroster by Specialized, is actually a windproof and waterproof material, so you can step in a stream crossing, you won't have to worry about a wet foot. They use a neoprene overlap collar and no laces whatsoever, just 3 Velcro straps. So you're getting the best fit. You don't have to fuss with the struggle of putting shoe covers on, but they are not cheap. They start about $180 for most winter shoes, and they can go up to almost $300 or $350 if you're looking at the CDs for a pair of winter shoes. Again, it's an investment. It's not that you're gonna get one initially and it's only gonna last you a couple years. I've had the same pair of winter riding shoes for 8 years now because they only get used a few months out of the season. Same with a lot of the winter clothing. The last but not least is a little bit more on your head. One of the nice things is you can actually get windproof skull caps, which will fit nicely underneath your helmet. The lighter gray material here is completely windproof, so it'll keep you from getting brain freeze or your ears from stinging, but yet the top of it is still a breathable fabric that'll keep you from overheating as well. If you need a little bit more protection and you don't have the fuzzy beard like I do, you always have the option of doing the Balaclava, which is more of a full head wraparound protection, so it's going to keep you the maximum warmth, allowing minimal draft. This one's nice because it actually has a strap you can pull up and put over top your nose and mouth, and it actually is made of a breathable fabric, so you don't feel like you're suffocating when you're wearing it, but it'll keep your face completely warm. And then the last thing is obviously with wintertime, a nice pair of clear lenses. If you happen to have a pair of glasses that have interchangeable lenses, because of the lower light levels, or night riding, you'll want to go with clear lens. Daytime riding, you'll probably need a really dark lens. If you're living in an area that's prone to having a lot of snow, you'll need an absolute darker lens on a sunny day. So that about wraps it up for winter clothing. Thanks for listening.